Hi everyone, welcome to Diana's Table. Today I'm going to be making 깍두기, which is a Korean radish kimchi in the shape of a cube. And it is called 깍두기 because in Korean we call it 깍둑 설기, which means actually literally cutting it into cube shape. It's a request from a viewer in New York who asked me to share my simple recipe for making 깍두기 because her children really like it so much. When the radishes are really tasty and juicy in the wintertime, this is when we make 깍두기 most. So I hope you'll try it this winter and enjoy it with your family. The ingredients, of course, you need are the sweet rice porridge. You can refer to our previous video on how to make that. 고춧가루, minced garlic. I have the pureed apples, pureed onions, fish sauce, blended shrimp paste, minced ginger, and salt. And then, of course, you need a little bit of water. First of all, you start with the sweet rice porridge. The recipe I'm going to give you is going to be based on probably 2 bunch because that's pretty much all you need. Minced garlic. This is pureed apple. Really adds natural sweetness to the taste. Pureed onions. Fish sauce. I just blended the shrimp paste in the blender with some water just to make it nice. I'm just gonna mix it all up. And as with any kind of marinade or seasoning, I'm going to let it sit for about 30 minutes for all the ingredients to mingle together and bring out the flavors. Here, this is when you actually taste it a little bit, and so here I think I need a little more, maybe a little more of the gochugaru. I think the saltiness is fine right now. I think this is good. Let me taste it again. Perfect. So I'm going to let it sit, then I will mix it. Here I have the green mustard. Rinse it well and drain the water. And I'm going to cut into probably 2 centimeters in length. But before I do that, the top part of the greens can be a little bit tough or too thick. So you just have to hit it. And that way the seasoning can go in easily and it's not as tough. So cut it. When it comes to the leafy parts, I sort of cut it shorter than the top parts. So probably about 1 inch long. I'm going to add some scallions. The scallions, you can actually go through and cut sort of the head part. But if you don't have the time and you don't really necessarily have to do that, I would again line up the heads together and then hit it again. Now this is a really good way to get rid of your stress. And then again you can just cut. The ingredients we need to make 깍두기, of course, are the radishes. And when you're choosing the radish, make sure you don't pick the big ones. The big ones tend to have a lot more water. So I usually get one that's sort of a medium size, so that it's when it's salted and everything, that's 깍두기 still stays, crunchy. So I'm going to cut it into cubes. And the size of the 깍두기 obviously depends on your personal preference. Maybe too big, a little bit. But remember that when you salt it, the size shrinks a bit. Yeah, I think this is good. So I'm going to cut up all the radishes and I'm going to salt it. 깍두기, you don't have to salt it too long because you know, it's kind of a small shape. So maybe salting it for only 30 minutes. So here you see the radishes that's been cut into little cube shapes. I'm going to salt it. Again, because these are smaller size radishes, you don't really need to salt it for long. So you just let it sit for about 30 minutes and then we'll drain it and put the seasoning on. So we are here ready with the salted 깍두기, the radishes. And you know it's been you know, well salted because you can actually see the shape has changed a little bit. The radish has shrunken in a little bit. You don't want to wash the 깍두기. You just want to drain the salt water, right? Drain it well. And then I'm going to pour it into the big container. I'm going to put in the cut green onions, just maybe 2 handfuls. And then the cut mustard greens. The mustard greens really help to keep the 깍두기 nice and fresh, and it helps with the fermentation. So, but if you don't have it, don't worry. You can just do it with the radish and the green onions. And then I'm going to add this seasoning that's been sort of sitting and fermenting on its own for about 30 minutes. Let's start with maybe 2 cups and we just mix together. I don't want to add all the seasoning all at once because depending on the color and the taste of the 깍두기, I can add more as I go along. I think the seasoning is fine. I don't want to put in any more. I think the color is good. You just have to, you do have to make sure that the pepper, the gochugaru seasoning, gets really evenly around the 깍두기 so you don't end up with a white 깍두기. Okay, so I'm going to taste one and see if it's enough. It's a bit on the salty side right now, but that's good because, you know, it would really, the taste would blend a little bit more and get less salty as it goes. But because I didn't really make a whole lot this time, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar because probably you'll eat this in about 2 to 3 weeks. So final touch, you want to add maybe a tablespoon full of sugar just to get a little bit of sweetness into the kimchi. And I will mix it again. And I'm going to put it into my kimchi jar. And just pack it down firmly, every layer. That's important. Otherwise, you know, you somehow you develop mold and it ruins the kimchi. So you want to clean up the sides, nice and clean. And I'm going to cover the top with a plastic bag. Squish it down and don't let any air in between. Okay, so this is the 깍두기 that we just made, And actually, 깍두기, you can start to eat it as is, starting today. You can let it ferment for a couple days at room temperature, which will really make the taste richer. But I like to start to eat it today because it's almost like radish salad. It's really perfect, and it's like the best with maybe fried chicken. It will cut the greasiness of fried chicken, so it's really perfect. Maybe you should order fried chicken tonight, make 깍두기, and enjoy.